everyone, it's Natalie. Welcome back to my channel for another video. So I'm getting ready to head out the door in a couple of hours. I've got to get my makeup on and I thought I would share with you what I'm putting on my face. And I got so many requests to do a makeup look featuring this Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air eyeshadow palette. I had this in last week's video, which was my fall favorites. If you haven't seen it yet, it's linked in the description box. I'll have it in the cards of this video too. But I got so many comments from you guys asking me to do a makeup look using this eyeshadow palette. This is such a good palette, oh my goodness, and it is so cheap. It's actually a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and it's like 90% cheaper. So that's what I am doing today. In a couple of hours, my husband and I are leaving to go have sushi, and it has been a long time since I have done just a chatty get ready with me video versus a voiceover tutorial, and so I would love it so much if in the comments right now you would let me know what style of video you prefer. Do you like it when I sit here and chat with you while I put my makeup on, or are you more of the voiceover, more produced sort of person? Do you like that better? So let me know. But let's get started with the face. That's what I always start with, and because this eyeshadow palette doesn't have a lot of fallout, I can do my face makeup before going in with the eye look, and so that's what I'm gonna do. My lips are a little stained right now from a lip stain I had on yesterday, and I tried to get it off, but the rest of my face is washed and moisturized, and I'm going to prime today with this e.l.f. Active. It's called a post-workout cool down mist, but it's really great for priming and for setting your makeup. And so this is what I'm using today for a primer. It does definitely have a cooling effect, and it leaves a little bit of tackiness behind, which I think makes my makeup go on really easily. You guys have seen me use this so many times, and in fact, there are so many things in this video that are just old favorites of mine. I say if you found something that you love, stick with it and use it. And there is no shame in using the same product for years and years and years. I feel like in this culture of beauty gurus, which there's nothing wrong with beauty gurus. I mean, there actually is some things wrong, but let's not get into that. In this culture of makeup and PR hauls and unboxings and new products, new product launches, so much stuff. As a mom who likes to wear makeup, it can be a little bit intimidating and kind of frustrating. It can kind of make you feel discontent with the things that you have that are perfectly good. I think that can be said for a lot of different stuff that you see in the media and on YouTube. But I've literally been using the Healthy Skin Foundation for almost a year. I've literally used no other foundation this whole year, and it's still doing wonderful. It is going strong. I've purchased a new bottle of it after I used up the one that I got in PR. There's nothing wrong with being content with what you have, and obviously that stems into much more than just, you know, makeup. But the makeup industry is, oh my gosh, a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they make their money off of making you feel discontent about the stuff that you have. And the Physicians Formula Healthy Skin Foundation is perfectly good for me. Some of you are probably already changing your answer in the comments. Natalie, you talk too much when you do a chatty get ready with me video. Just stick to the produced kind. I'm just gonna add a little bit more in the places that need a little extra coverage. I've been doing a bit more foundation rather than concealer lately, because I feel like that gives me more of a natural finish. And so on the spots where I have some hyperpigmentation or some like acne scarring or whatever, I will just go over with a little bit more of the foundation rather than going in with concealer, because I feel like it just blends out a lot nicer. But under my eyes, the dark circles do need a little bit of help, and this is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer, and this stuff is really, really good. You guys know I love Tarte Shape Tape. I've used it for years and years, and before I used the Tarte concealer, I used this stuff, and this is really good. I use the shade Fair. Oh, and I should tell you that my Physicians Formula, I use the shade LC1. So I'm just blending everything out with this Morphe M439 brush. The Real Techniques buffing and blending brush is also a really good option. This is just what was close at hand, and everything except one product today can all be found at the drugstore. I was inspired by my Wet n Wild little palette that I had, and the fact that this was so affordable and such a good quality, that that I wanted to do everything as, you know, affordable as I could for this video. So I'm just blending everything in, trying to make what I put under my eyes for concealer kind of blend seamlessly into the foundation. And this duo, foundation and concealer, actually does work really well together. I make sure that everything is really well blended and that I don't have any harsh lines or streaks or anything going on. I just really take my time with the blending before I add any powder, because it's like once you add the powder, you are set. I mean, literally. And stuff doesn't really move, especially with this powder. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This one is so used. It's looking a little weak, but there's nothing wrong with ugly looking makeup. If you've hit pan on something, it's not time to throw it away. That's a waste of money, unless it's like expired and gross and old, but this isn't expired. It just isn't the prettiest one. I add powder everywhere, but I pretty much just concentrate it under the eyes to set any concealer, and then I will add it toward the back part of my face, because this is where I put other like bronzing or blushing products, and my T-zone actually tends to get pretty dry, so if I put too much powder there, it kind of accentuates that problem. And speaking of powder products, let's start with some bronzer. This is another oldie but goodie. This is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in the shade 021 Sunlight. I'm using the Sonia Kashuk. This is like a duo fiber brush, and it's beautiful for blending in powder products like blush and bronzer, and I use it for both. I'm just adding a little bit of bronzer to the outside of my cheeks. I'm not bringing it in too far because I'm not naturally tan right now, and so I don't want to look fakey, if that makes sense. I'm just dusting it around the perimeter of my face, making sure that I go up into my hairline so there's not like a weird white line in between where the bronzer is and where my hairline starts. I do dust a little bit of the bronzer on my nose, just a little bit, because if you haven't noticed, I have a prominent nose. Things that are light on your face come to the forefront of your vision, and things that are dark kind of fall back, so you notice the highlighted parts. So I just darken my nose a little bit to bring it kind of out of your vision and just to create the illusion that it's a little bit smaller. But I think I'm sufficiently bronzed. I'm going to move on to blush, and I'm realizing that the screensaver on my computer back there is kind of weird looking. One of the reasons I'm filming right now is because my computer is acting really slow, and I have like 50 million videos to edit right now. I have been editing for days and days, and it's a blessing to be a YouTuber, and it's such a blessing to have brand deals, and I just can't believe that this is my life and like my career. But with brand deals and with work that is involved with that, there's definitely an element of stress, and so I'm just kind of decomposing here. Decomposing. I feel like I'm decomposing. I'm decompressing by putting some makeup on. Wow, the boys have their quiet time, which it sounds like someone's sneaking into my room. Sorry, someone needed me to plug in his Leap pad for their quiet time. They're playing on their little Leap pads. But I was gonna go in with some blush. This is the Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade Peach, which it's actually more on the neutral side of a peach blush. In my opinion, it's definitely not as orangey as other peach blushes, and I really like how neutral it is. It goes with any sort of look, and the way it blends out is just gorgeous. It has a nice sheen to it. It's not a completely matte blush, and so it has like a nice skin-like finish. And I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's really buildable too. It goes on pretty sheer, which I like. I don't like it when blushes are too pigmented at first. So anyway, it is a blessing to be a YouTuber, and it is amazing that it has become a job. Now, that's not what I intended. I didn't even know that was possible when I started YouTube 5 years ago. But like with any job, there are definitely things about it that are stressful, and especially when you have a computer that starts glitching. That's just crazy. And so I needed to breathe for a little bit and get ready to go and just let my computer do its update, and it's rendering some graphics that I was making on it, and so I just kind of needed to take a break. And what what a better way to spend it than with you guys doing some makeup. So the last thing that I'll do here before I start in on the eyeshadow is my brows. I think when I have my brows done, it helps me keep the structure and also the intensity of the eyeshadow in balance. And if there's any makeup product ever, if I only had to choose one for the rest of my life, it would be a brow pencil. And I remember my mom saying this when I was little, if you have your brows done, it makes a makeup look. She would always emphasize how important brows are, and that was back in the days of horrible eyebrows, you guys. Oh my gosh. It's embarrassing to think what people did to their eyebrows back when I was learning how to do makeup as like a 12 or 13-year-old girl. I did over tweeze in between my eyebrows. Not too much over here. I don't build up too much on the ends of them, but man, in between, I need a little bit of help. And actually the brow product that I've been trying out recently, the NYX Precision Brow Pencil, I use the shade, where are you shade? Soft brown, but I think I could also use espresso and have it work. I really like how big the spoolie on this brush is compared to the micro brow pencil, but I'm not so sure about the actual pencil part. I do like the flat edge. It makes it easy to fill in like the thicker parts of my brows, but I do prefer something a little bit more skinny, micro, to fill in some hair strokes in the middle. But it does the trick. It's not too bad at all. I always look so angry when I'm doing my eyebrows. When I edit my makeup videos, I just have to laugh at myself like, girl, the resting brat face has got to tone down just a little bit, especially with the eyebrows. I have to do that just to see if I'm even or not. Eyebrows are sisters, not twins. I'm going to set my brows with the Pacifica Natural Minerals Stunning Brows Eyebrow Gloss and Set. That is a mouthful. I have very dark hair on my eyebrows, and so anything that leaves a dull finish actually starts to look really flaky and dry, and I like this glossy finish, and it actually sets your brows really well. It's like a flexible hold hairspray, and I'm really liking it. And so I'll just brush it through my brows like that, and I'll make sure that on the arch here, I will add a little bit extra product because this part of my brow actually starts to fall down throughout the day. So I'll add a little extra here, make sure that there's more, and then at the head, I think this is called, right here, of my brows, I will just comb backwards a little bit just to make those hairs kind of fluffier and feathery and bold and stand up. And I think that looks really good, especially for the fall time. Now I'm gonna go in on the eyes, and before I do, I am going to add just a little bit more of the Rimmel Stay Matte powder with this domed brush. This is from Wet n Wild. Just a little bit more because after a while, especially sitting here talking, I get a little sweaty. My eyelids produce just a little bit more oil, and I definitely want to make sure that my eyeshadow goes on nice and smoothly. So like I said, this is the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air eyeshadow palette. There are gorgeous, gorgeous shades in here, and something that I mentioned in my favorites video is that I like that these two transition shades are the biggest pans in here because it's what I use the most of. And I'm gonna go in with the bottom transition shade, which is this gorgeous browned out like deep mustard color. How many fall eye makeup tutorials have you seen where someone says mustard? I should bring you guys in a little bit before I get started here. Just barely graze the crease of my eyelid. Actually, I'm going so lightly. Whenever I do this, it like stimulates a nerve in there that makes me want to sneeze. Does that happen to anyone else? I remember doing my makeup in musical theater, and I was always the one sitting in that makeup room sneezing my head off, and I always felt so bad. It's probably because a lot of the makeup was so heavily scented, especially the Coty Airspun powder that we would use. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna turn the exposure down a little bit so that you guys can see, but I have not dipped back into that color. I'm just using the little tiny bit that was on the tip of this brush, and I'm just blending and blending and blending so much, and I am focusing a good amount of that color on the inside portion of this crease, and that's just what I have to do for my eye shape and how far my eyes are set apart. They're definitely more on the wide set side of things, and when I put a little bit of darkness in this, it kind of brings the eyes a little closer together. So I'm continuing to blend that. I'm going to move over to the other eye before I move on to a different color. I'm a back and forth sort of gal when it comes to my eye looks. I know some people like Kathleen Lights. I don't know if it's just for her tutorials or what, but she will do a full eye from start to finish and then move on to the other one, and I would forget my steps if I did that. I am doing the same thing to this crease, just adding that deep mustard color, focusing it on the inner portion of my crease and making sure that there's no splotchiness or like lines or streaks or anything. But honestly, these eyeshadows are so good. It's like they blend themselves. The brush I'm using is the Morphe M505 brush, which is really, really good for blending. I have been using this for years, and if you take care of your brushes, they will last for a very long time. But I think my creases are looking good. Oh my gosh, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have said that sentence on YouTube in front of thousands of people one day. And now I'm going to take this dark brown shade, and on the tip of this e.l.f., this is the eye crease brush from e.l.f. It's more of a densely packed, it's kind of like a big fluffy pencil brush, but it definitely has some give to it. I'm just going to stamp it on the outside portion of this into the crease and a little bit onto the lid. I'm just using kind of stippling, stamping motions, and then I'm going to blend it out later. I'm just laying the product down right now. This is my in-between, like, no makeup look and glam look. This strikes balance between the two somewhere. I mean, everyone has their own opinion about how intense looks are and what your own definition of glam versus everyday. But this is what I would typically wear if, like, Wes and I were going out on a date, or I was going to church in the morning, or if I was going on a coffee date with a girlfriend. This is kind of like the easy makeup look. And of course it's taking me way longer because I'm filming a video about it than it would if I was, you know, just putting it on in my bathroom in the morning. From start to finish, this is like my 10-minute or less makeup look. Now I'm just gonna go in with my finger on this lightest shade. I'm keeping the eye makeup look completely matte today. I like doing matte eyes and glossy skin. I'm going in with this shade, concentrating it on the middle portion of my lid, and then blending it out with a clean finger on either side, just creating a highlight right here in the center. You'll see a lot of people bring that lightness all the way in, but again, I do want to keep some darkness on the very inner part to just complement my individual, like, anatomy, my eye shape. And do the same thing over here on this side. It's not quite a halo eye, like that style, but it's verging on it. Now it's looking a little intense and it's a bit too much of a contrast between the light and the dark part of my eyeshadow, so I am gonna take that Morphe M505 brush and just blend all of the edges until they're more seamless. So I'm just gonna make sure that everything is blended out once again, and I always do this, and even right up until I walk out my door if I'm going somewhere, I will just check once again in the mirror and like turn my head around in the light to make sure that I have done a good job of blending everything together. But again, these shadows are really nice. They're very easy to blend. Okay, and just like in my last makeup video that I did, it was the wedding get ready with me video, I am going to use this CHATTY Wonder Wand. This is a gel kohl eyeliner. I've used this, mine is getting really short, but I've been using this for a good long while, and I have not found something at the drugstore that does this good of a job when it comes to making a nice smoky eyeline. I'm tucking this liner as close to my lash line as I possibly can, like even drawing onto my lashes. And even if there's spots in between, like I'm almost playing connect the dots here when I blend it out, so it doesn't have to be like a perfect line. I'm just kind of dabbing the pigment to the lash line, and then I'm gonna blend it out. There is a little brush on the end of this eyeliner, and I'm just gonna use that to kind of blend it all together. It isn't the softest brush, but it actually does a really good job of smoking it out. I'm also going to bring that onto my lower waterline. Then I'm going to take this brush. This is like one of my favorite brushes ever. This is the e.l.f. smudge brush. It's literally $3 at Target. And I'm gonna go into my transition shade, that burnt mustard color, and just run it on my lower lash line and kind of smudge whatever of that eyeliner ended up on my lash line down a little bit and just smoke it out down there too. I'm just gonna flick out any of the pigment either from the eyeshadow or the eyeliner that's made its way onto the brush. I'm just gonna kind of create this little line. I'm gonna go in with that little pencil brush. I am gonna just make sure to take off any of that excess dark brown shade off. I'm just gonna tap really lightly into this orangey shade up here in the corner and tap off any excess. And then I'm gonna tilt my head back a little bit and just stamp this into the deepest part of my crease. I'm gonna take this all the way over in this upside down U shape and just add that pigment in there. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side and then I'm gonna blend it out. Pigment is laid down and now we're gonna take that blending brush and blend it out. And if you find that while you're doing your eyeshadow, you've added a bit too much pigment or it's looking a little darker than you want or heavier, go in with that light shade that you were using, like a light matte shade or a skin tone shade. Add that to your brush as you're blending and it will just sort of tone everything down and help the blending process. So I think it's time for some mascara. So I have a brand new package of my favorite mascara. I've been using this for the last several months. It literally does everything. It lengthens, it volumizes, it lifts and separates. If they could make a bra with the same claims as this Kokie mascara, I would buy it in a heartbeat because the breastfeeding has kind of taken a toll on the girls. I'm just gonna give my lashes a quick curl with my kind of grimy eyelash curler. I gotta clean this thing. And oh, there's nothing like a new bottle of mascara. That first, when you open it up. I'm going to layer this on. Oh my gosh, this mascara is so good. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And then if it was more of a nighttime or glam look, I would add some to my lower lashes, but I am gonna try to keep it a bit more on the toned down side. My lower lashes are really long, and so when I put mascara on them, it looks a bit crazy sometimes. So I will save that for a more glam occasion, but for now, this is the eye look. Okay, so I'm also gonna use the lip product that I talked about in my favorites video last week. This is the e.l.f. matte lip color in the shade Praline. And this is so gorgeous and it complements this eyeshadow palette so well. Even if you go the more mauve route with some of the shades in this palette, this lip color still works. Right here in the corner of my mouth, I literally have no pigment on my lips. It's like skin color, not lip color, right here. So I always have to fill that part in. That's one of the reasons why I like this lip product so much, is that it's easy to do that. I always love how this look comes together. I wish we could do fall time makeup all year long. To complete this look, I am going to add just a little bit of this NYX Butter Gloss. They actually have a shade named Praline, and I wanted to give a shout out to it. I'm not wearing it tonight, but it's very close to this e.l.f. lip color called Praline, and it's kind of like the glossy version. But I'm gonna use the shade Madeline, which is lighter than this, and just pop a little bit in the center. Right here. And it just adds a juiciness and it makes your lips look a little plumper when you add lightness to the center. And I could use a little bit of plumpness because my lips are definitely on the thin side. I'm gonna go back in with the e.l.f. Active Post-Workout Cool Down Mist, or e.l.f. Setting Spray. I love this look for the fall time. It just comes together so easily. And again, if I wasn't chatting with you guys for the last half hour with my camera rolling, this would have been like a 10-minute or less makeup look, but that is it. Alrighty, well that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of me using the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air eyeshadow palette. I love this. There are so many different looks you can do, honestly. There are so many options, a different sort of transition shade. You can go the more mauve-y or cool toned route with it. It's basically what I love about the Anastasia palette, except much, much cheaper. So on a whim here, I'm going to do another Notification Squad giveaway because I want another one of you to enjoy this palette. And I actually picked up another one of the Praline Elf lip pencils, and so I'm giving this duo away to one of you. So just make sure that you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on, and that in your comment you include the hashtag notification squad giveaway so I know who to pick from for this little duo here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's fall makeup tutorial. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, and if you do want to see more makeup or beauty videos here on this channel, let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.